What's up everyone, welcome to another episode. Today I want to tell you about my experience so far about ordering a custom titanium frame from China. So under some of my steel bike build videos, I've been getting a bunch of comments from you out there in regards to titanium frames and how amazing they feel, how close they are when it comes to the ride feel to steel, while being on the slightly lighter side as well and being more durable because they're completely stainless and don't rust. So that topic was cooking in the back of my head for quite a while, and then while I was browsing YouTube a couple months back, I super randomly came across a video from a guy called Cycling Maven who ordered a custom titanium frame from China from a company called Waltly. So I had that name somehow in the back of my head, Waltly. And yes, at some point I took the decision, okay, I want to give titanium a try. I couldn't afford a light speed frame at this very high price point, and unfortunately to this very high price point there come a lot of import taxes as well, because I mean they're manufactured and shipping from the States. I'm living here in Germany, so that was adding quite a little bit of bonus cost on top of those light speed frames. So unfortunately that's out of my budget range at the moment. So I dug a little deeper on Waltly and tried to find some more reviews and some more opinions on that, and I found mainly positive ones in regards to also the communication with them. And I found a guy called Sumi on my Instagram who is working at Waltly, or I don't know what his position is at Waltly actually, but yeah, he kept posting some nice titanium frames on his profile, and there was his email contact on his Instagram profile, so I right away reached out to him to get the process going. So I was very happy that Sumi seemed to be very responsive. I mean, of course, they're on the other side of the planet, so we kind of exchange one email per day, kind of. Maybe on a lucky one we have been able to exchange two per day, but very quickly he informed me about like what the price structure is, how long it's going to take, and what kind of information they need. So first of all, let's start with the price. When it comes to the frame, basically the base price is $950 for the frame itself. Then they also offer a carbon fork that fits to that frame. That's basically another $130 on top. And then it's another $300 for express shipping from China to Germany. When it comes to the timeline, basically after you confirm their technical drawing and like all the specification and everything, and you're good to go, you pay 50% of the frame cost as a deposit kind of, and then from that manufacturing start point it takes around 6 to 8 weeks to manufacture the frame, and then around 7 to 10 working days to basically be shipped from China and arrive at your door, I guess via DHL Express. So the main question of course that came up next was the geometry, like how should the shape and what should be the tube lengths be of this custom frame. So best way to get started there is to have actually a reference frame and a reference bike that you really love riding, that feels like a glove, I would say to you. That's maybe your favorite. And initially I actually wanted to take the Yoleo R12 dimensions because I really like how this frame rides and how it feels, but it is a carbon frame. It has some aerodynamic tube shapes and so on and so forth. So I thought that it might be a little bit tricky when it comes to A/B comparison to a titanium frame. But then I just recently finished my Standard Triebwerk disc bike, which I really love. It feels great. It fits like a glove, I would say, almost. So I got heavily inspired, I would say, by the dimensions of the Standard Triebwerk disc. So I think going with the Standard as kind of like a baseline for the geometry inspiration has two benefits. I mean, of course, it's going to be the geometry that I already really like and it fits me well, but then the maybe even more important factor is going to be that I'll be able to do proper A/B comparisons between a steel frame and a titanium frame, because the tube shapes are going to be very similar. Aerodynamic shapes are not going to have any impact, or shouldn't have any impact on ride feel, and also bigger changes in geometry are, they shouldn't be there, because as I said, the dimensions are very heavily inspired on the Triebwerk frame also when it comes to the angles and everything. So I think this is going to be great to do some proper A/B comparisons to really understand what kind of impact the material itself has on the ride feel. Aside from the geometry, there are also a couple of other questions that you need to ask yourself where you need to make a decision, and it is rim brake or disc brake, internal cable routing versus external cable routing, and mechanical shifting or electronic shifting. So I really had a hard time making a decision here because I kind of really liked the romantic perspective of having a nice titanium rim brake bike with external cable routing, like really basic. But I think it also has something to it to have a very nice modern disc electronic group set, and yeah, where all the cables are hidden away in the frame. And as I couldn't make up my mind and I only have budget for one of those frames, yeah, I started and ran a couple of polls here, and I'm very thankful for everybody who answered them on the YouTube community page. And it turns out that what seems most exciting to the majority of you is to have a disc brake bike which works with electronic shifting and has a fully integrated headset and through that cable routing. So this is what I put on my specification list as well. So now that I decided, or actually we together decided, that it's supposed to be a fully integrated headset, I needed to think what kind of headset do I want to integrate actually there into the specification on that frame. And I spoke with Sumi a little bit back and forth, and it turns out that there is a headset from FSA called 55R, which seems to fit quite well, because I'm running the Yolio fully integrated handlebars on my Triebwerk, and I also would like to run the same handlebars on that titanium frame. And it looks like, at least for now, that these handlebars are going to be also compatible with that FSA headset. So this was the next item that I added on the specification list for the titanium frame. And then the last decision, or at least what I have thought would be the last decision that I needed to take, was what kind of bottom bracket do I want to have. And there I of course also picked the T47 standard with external bearings, because I also still have one flying around here. So yeah, I can definitely make use of that on that frame. And I just love a threaded standard and didn't want to really go to BSA at this point. So yeah, T47 external bearings was the next item on the specification list. So I took all these informations together with the geometry chart from the Triebwerk, and I sent them over to Sumi to get started. And I think it took 3 or 4 days, and he came back to me with the first technical drawing. And yeah, this is how it looked like. So yeah, I took some time to do a proper review of this to see if like all the specifications are in check. We still had some misalignments when it came to some tube lengths, but yeah, I basically just sent over a reiterated version of the geometry chart. And then also I noticed that they calculated a little bit too much space for tire clearance in the rear, because I'm actually not planning to go wider than 30mm tires on there. I think most probably 28mm tires, so I also wanted to keep it nice and narrow in the back. And on that note, I've also noticed that they have designed in straight chain stays in the back and seat stays in the back, and I rather wanted to have like this slightly S-shaped curve there to be nice and narrow in the back. So yeah, I gave them that feedback back, and I think it took another 2 days before Sumi then came back with an updated design, which looked like this. Which might, at first glance on the screen not look like much of a difference, but it actually included all those changes that we discussed. One last thing that I noticed while taking a deeper look at the final technical drawing is that the top tube and the down tube seem to be just straight titanium tubes. And as I want to keep this as lightweight as possible, I mean, of course, I don't think that it's going to go down to the weight of like a Lightspeed titanium top level frame, but I still wanted to see how far we can push it down. So I asked Sumi if it would be possible to do to have some double butted tubes for the down tube and the top tube. It's just going to be adding $250 onto the bill. So yeah, I did bite the bullet, $250 extra. I think that is fine for a project like this. I just want to like squeeze out everything that is possible. As it is a longer process already anyways, I didn't want $250 to hold us back here, creating something that might be suboptimal. So yeah, with that, Sumi sent over an updated invoice, which now, including shipping and including the FSA headset, which they would also provide, which costs $55. I'm just reading this off the invoice from my phone, and is now totaling at $1,765 US, because there's also a little PayPal fee sitting on top of that. So with that, he basically sent over a PayPal link as well to wire over the 50% deposit, which I did right away. And now the process got started and they went into manufacturing. So this is where we're at right now in the process. Basically, I think they started production around 2 weeks ago. So I really hope that we can still get this frame done and shipped out before Chinese New Year. But let's see. I mean, if it takes longer, it takes longer. I'm not going to put any pressure on them because I just want this frame to be as good as possible. And I'll, of course, once it arrives, do a proper unboxing, and then I would say I'm going to be building it up pretty much straight away. I think the plan is to set it up this time with the SRAM rival ETAP group set, so electronic shifting from SRAM, which I didn't really have so much experience with so far, but I mean, there's a first time for everything, so I'll definitely want to give it a try and see how it performs when it comes to maintenance efforts or build-up efforts in comparison to the L2 and to the Shimano setups that I've been mounting so far. So this was my little update. I think quite exciting projects. If you have any questions in regards to the process, or if you have any tips for me what to look out for in that process, just let me know down in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you as quickly as possible. And I think with that, I'll wish you a beautiful evening, lunch, noon, good morning, wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one.